History records the ultimate act of agricultural warfare. When the legions of Rome finally crushed the city of Carthage, legend says they did not just burn the buildings. They did something far more permanent. They salted the earth. It was a curse meant to last forever. To sow salt into the soil was to sentence the land to death. It stripped the earth of its fertility, ensuring that nothing would ever grow there again. For thousands of years, this fear has been burned into the mind of every farmer. Salt is the enemy. It burns, it dehydrates, it kills. But if salt is the bringer of death, answer me this. Why is the ocean the cradle of all life? Why does the embryo swim in a saline solution in the womb? Why do your tears, your sweat, and your blood all taste of the sea? When you collapse in a hospital, what is the first thing they pump into your veins to save you? Saline, salt water. We are living inside a massive contradiction. We fear the very element that sustains us. We have built a barrier between our crops and the ocean, convinced that the sea is toxic to the land. But what if I told you that this fear is the reason your garden is starving? Here is the dangerous truth. Ocean water is not a poison. It is the most complete nutrient solution on the planet. But like any powerful medicine, the difference between a cure and a poison lies in the dose. There is a razor-thin line between destroying your soil like the Romans and resurrecting it like a master alchemist. That line is defined by a single number, a specific dilution ratio. If you ignore this number, you will kill your plants by tomorrow morning. But if you respect it, you can triple your harvest. I will hand you this mathematical key at the end of this dossier. But first, we must understand why we stopped using it and the price we paid for forgetting the sea. Walk into any modern supermarket and you will see a lie. The produce section is a masterpiece of deception. The peppers are glossy, the apples are huge, the lettuce is a vibrant, unnatural green. It looks like abundance, but your body knows the truth. We are suffering from a global condition known as hidden hunger. We are eating more calories than ever before, yet we are starving on a cellular level. Why? Because for the last century, we have treated the soil like a factory floor, not a living organism. The industrial agricultural complex convinced farmers that plants only need three things to survive: NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This is the fast food diet of the plant world. Nitrogen makes them green. Phosphorus makes them flower. Potassium makes them big. It works. The plants grow fast. They look impressive. They fit perfectly in the shipping crates. But they are hollow ghosts. Bite into a tomato from the grocery store today. What do you taste? Nothing. It has the texture of wet cardboard and the flavor of tap water. It is a red sphere of disappointment. Now close your eyes and try to remember the taste of a tomato from your grandmother's garden 30 years ago. It was heavy. It was ugly. But when you sliced it, the aroma filled the room. It was sweet, savory, and complex. It tasted like life. Where did that flavor go? It washed away. For millions of years, gravity and rain have been committing a slow robbery. Every time it rains, water dissolves the minerals in the topsoil, zinc, cobalt, selenium, copper, and carries them into the rivers. The rivers carry them to the one place where they never return. The ocean. The land is dying. It is being leached of its blood. We try to fix it by dumping bags of NPK, but that is like trying to build a human body using only sugar and caffeine. You get energy but no structure. Meanwhile, the ocean has become the repository of the Earth's lost wealth. It is getting richer every day, holding the very nutrients that our bodies are screaming for. I want you to be honest with me. Pause for a second and think about your last meal. Do you feel satisfied, or do you feel a strange craving even after you are full? Do you agree that food has lost its soul compared to the past? Tell me in the comments below. Are you tasting the cardboard too, or am I the only one mourning the death of flavor? But one man refused to accept this decay. He was not a farmer. He was a man of medicine, trained to look for the root cause of disease, not just to treat the symptoms. His name was Dr. Maynard Murray, 1910–1983. Dr. Murray was a brilliant physiologist and an ENT specialist. He spent his life peering into the cellular structure of living things, and in the mid-20th century he noticed a disturbing pattern. The land animals he studied, cows, pigs, chickens, and humans, were riddled with chronic diseases. They developed cancer. They suffered from arthritis. Their arteries hardened. They aged painfully. So he turned his gaze to the ocean. Over several decades, Dr. Murray dissected thousands of sea creatures. He opened up whales. He examined sea turtles. He studied the tissues of fish. And what he found, or rather what he didn't find, shattered his understanding of biology. In the pristine creatures of the deep, he found zero evidence of cancer. No hardening of the arteries. No arthritis. A 100-year-old sea turtle possessed the same cellular vitality as a juvenile. While life on land was breaking down, life in the sea was thriving in a state of biological immortality. Dr. Murray realized that the difference wasn't genetics, it was the environment. He looked at the periodic table of elements. It is not just a list on a chemistry classroom wall, it is the recipe for life. There are 92 natural elements in the universe. Analyze a drop of ocean water and you will find all 92. Analyze a drop of healthy human blood and you will find the same 92. The ratios are nearly identical. We are quite literally walking bags of ocean water. But now look at the bag of fertilizer in your shed. Look at the label. What do you see? NPK. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. 3. Do the math. 92 minus 3 equals 89. Modern agriculture is forcing our crops to survive on a starvation diet, missing 89 essential elements. We are building bodies out of incomplete bricks. We have chromium, selenium, iodine, and gold missing from our soil, so they are missing from our food, and eventually they are missing from us. Dr. Murray concluded that this mineral starvation is the true root of the chronic disease epidemic. We are not sick because we are unlucky. We are sick because we are disconnected from the source. The industry wants you to believe that growth equals health. They want you to think that if a plant is green, it is good. But Dr. Murray proved that a plant can be green and yet biologically broken. If you believe that this truth deserves to be heard, that our health is tied to the soil, not the pharmacy, leave a like on this video. It tells the algorithm that we refuse to accept the fast food version of agriculture. Let's get this knowledge to the people who need it. Dr. Murray did not just theorize about this connection, he proved it in the soil. From 1938 to 1950, he conducted a series of trials that should have revolutionized agriculture. He didn't use chemical packets, he used the ocean. He harvested sea solids, the mineral residue left after water evaporates, and applied them to test plots across the United States. The results documented in his book Sea Energy Agriculture were not just statistical improvements, they were biological anomalies. When he applied this method to tomatoes, he didn't just get a few more fruits, he saw an 89% increase in production compared to the control group. But more importantly, the quality changed. These tomatoes were not the watery red spheres we eat today. They were dense with nutrition containing significantly higher levels of vitamin C. He tested carrots. The results were equally staggering, a 40% increase in vitamin A. But the most haunting data came from the animals that ate these crops. In one landmark study, Dr. Murray fed this sea-mineralized grain to livestock and laboratory animals. The control group, fed on standard grade A commercial feed, suffered the usual rates of sickness and cancer. The sea-fed group. They were virtually immune. They displayed a resistance to disease that defied modern veterinary understanding. So you must ask the question, if a simple application of ocean minerals can double yields and eliminate disease, why isn't every farmer doing it? Why isn't sea energy sold in every garden center? The answer is simple economics. You cannot patent the ocean. The sea belongs to everyone. It is free. There is no exclusive formula to copyright. There is no supply chain to control. The agrochemical industry is built on selling you things you do not have. They cannot build an empire selling you something you can get from the beach. NPK is a product. Ocean water is a birthright, and that is why it was forgotten. Now the moment of truth. You are ready to reclaim the lost elements, but listen closely because this is where most people fail. Remember the Roman curse. Salt kills, but ocean water heals. The bridge between the two is dilution. Here is the golden ratio that Dr. Murray's research suggests for the modern gardener: 1:30. For every 1 cup of ocean water, you must mix it with at least 30 cups of fresh water. For sensitive plants, go even weaker, 1:100. Think of this not as water, but as a potent liquid multivitamin. You would not drink a gallon of vitamins. You take a single pill. The same applies here. Apply this solution to the soil, never the leaves, just once every 3 to 4 months. That is all it takes. The minerals are trace elements. They are powerful in microscopic amounts. The sourcing protocol. Do not take water from a stagnant harbor or near a city drain. Go to the open coast. Find a place where the waves are crashing and the water is alive. Collect it in a glass jar. This water is dense with life. Safety warning. Never under any circumstances pour undiluted seawater onto your soil. If you use too much, you will salinate your land and nothing will grow. Respect the power of the ocean. Treated with respect, it is the elixir of life. Treated with arrogance, it is a weapon of destruction. We have spent the last century separating the land from the sea, and in doing so, we have separated ourselves from health. The soil is exhausted, the plants are hollow, and we are starving while our bellies are full. But the solution is not in a laboratory. It is crashing against the shore waiting for us to notice. By bringing a small piece of the ocean back to your garden, you are closing the circle. You are restoring the 92 elements that nature intended you to have. You are not just growing food, you are growing medicine. The industry relies on your ignorance to sell you incomplete fertilizer. Share this archive with a farmer or a gardener who is ready to wake up. Break the cycle of NPK. And if you seek to uncover more lost technologies that can restore our independence, subscribe to the Ancestral Garden. The earth is thirsty for the sea. It is time to let the tide come in.